So a very warm welcome to all the esteemed panelists, our dear attendees for the day. The topic is really a very interesting one, demystifying mathematics phobia among students. And Matific is honored to associate with the Association of Indian Principals to present this event. Let me introduce you the host and the moderator of this event, Dr. Chetna Sabarwal. She's a director for Association of Indian Principals and director for SkillsReforms Private Limited. With a doctorate in educational psychology, she holds NCERT certification, GCC UCLA certification for career counseling, and the life coach certification from UK. Her 25 plus years of experience merges at the carrefour of education, psychology, mathematics, and career guidance. And final call so far comes into all-encompassing social entrepreneurship. As a convinced believer of multi-potentialities, she mentors her clients across all ages to reach their optimum potential through life coaching, psychometric assessment, power skills training, and skill development with a focus on business and digital skills. So with this, I hand over the stage to Dr. Chetna. Stage is all yours. Thank you very much. We are honored to have you as a host for this session.
Thank you, Zainab, for such a lovely introduction. And I welcome each one of you, those who are here as attendees and the panelists. And Sahil, thank you for collaborating for this. And before I just start with this, what exactly we are doing here, I would just like to introduce you to the partnership of AIP and Matific. So Matific is a multi-award winning mathematic e-learning platform for schools that builds problem-solving skills and conceptual understanding in early mathematics education. It was founded in 2012 by global experts in mathematics education and computer science. Since then, Matific has helped millions of students across the world to develop deep conceptual understanding in mathematics through effective pedagogy and engaging resources. Currently presented in 120 countries and in 40 plus languages, it is known for its flagship competition, Matific Math League, which has been running successfully for the past 8 years. It's a fun-filled online mathematics competition for primary school children, KG to 6th grade, and millions of students from over 20 countries participate in this league every year. And India Matific Math League is scheduled to commence on 23rd of November and conclude on 6th December. And in total, there will be 1 million kids participating from 1,000 schools across the country. So participation in this particular league is completely free. So I request all the attendees, all the principals, all the directors who have joined us that you should join this competition. And that's the reason that why Association of Indian Principals, I as the director partnership, we partnered with EdTech, different EdTech companies, just to give an idea of that is what is happening around the world. So AIP currently has around 2,000 plus members, which includes the owners, directors, principals, and the vice chancellors of different universities. Specially made, this platform is made for the Indian principals, and I would love to have everybody here. And we are going to have regular webinars on specifically on NCF, which is being launched in this December, and the NP 2020, because that's the way forward for us with the EdTech, that how technology has to balance this whole curriculum dissemination to the schools and how we are going to. So I feel it's a 40-30-30 combination which would be there, that 40% would be the human intervention, 30% would be the teacher's intervention, and 30% would be the technological interventions which would be required. So we have to find a balance between them. And being a math educator myself, I feel so privileged to have this forum, Ms. Taruna, Ms. Radhika and Sahil, and it's lovely to have you all here. And so we can move forward, and then I'll just introduce our panelists for today. Ms. Radhika Srinivasan, she's the principal of Shri Universal School, Palwa, and she's a leader, researcher, PhD scholar, and presenter with a wealth of experience in education. In her current role, she's a principal at the school, Palwa, the Shri Universal School, Palwa, as I introduced. And she has been awarded numerous prestigious awards, such as the Connected Educator Award by Center for Interactive Learning and Collaboration, conducted multiple teacher training webinars, and is a member of reputable institutions, namely the Center for Environment Education. She's also a keen nature enthusiast and has completed multiple certifications around environmental science on top of her educational degree. So I welcome you, Radhika ji. And It's a pleasure. We have met at different forums, so it is again a pleasure to have you here. The next
Thank you.
panelist is Ms. Taruna Kapoor. She's the principal GD Goenka School, Indrapuram. She's a principal and an administrator with an experience of more than 20 years. She currently works in our countryside school. I don't see it's a countryside school, it's a capital school.
Yeah.
And is also a mentor to wonderful and curious students. She has been associated with Microsoft since 2018 and has completed more than 150 courses. Wow. Owing to which she has been awarded with the title of Microsoft Innovative Expert. She's a certified National Geographic educator and a certified Apple teacher as well. She has been associated with these institutions and have worked hard towards learning innovative techniques by collaborating with people all around the world to help her students become global citizens. Lovely to have you, Tarunaji. And I think, you would be the perfect fit here to make us understand that how we can use technology from Microsoft as well as Apple to give this information. Yeah, so thank you so much for being the panelist today. The next one is Mr. Sahil Kapoor. He's the Chief Business Officer of Matific India. And Sahil, I read your interview on Telegraph, so that was wonderful. He has more than 15 years of expertise in sales, marketing, operations, and company development. Sahil leads Matific's operation and is responsible for expanding the company's presence in the India education and consumer market. And he's determined to make Matific the preeminent online platform for learning mathematics for K6 students. Sahil Kapoor has also has not only done extensive work to digitize India's education technology sector, but he has also mentored more than 3,000 professionals working in the edtech field. Additionally, he has formed strategic partnerships with the agencies, media outlets, and channel partners, and also has established a process-driven culture that has permeated the organization. He's critical in the organization's personal structure due to his profound knowledge and innate leader. He has mapped the platform to every board in India, and I see you everywhere for sure. So welcome, Sahil, to this forum, and I hope the teachers and the directors and the principal would be benefited, because we cannot, I again reiterate this fact that we cannot ignore technology. We cannot ignore the industry presence in the education sector, that how we have to prepare our learners for to become global citizen, as all of us have mentioned in our the motto of as an educator. So that's lovely to have you all here. And without much ado, I think we are attendees are here. So I would start with, so the format of this would be, I'll be asking you a few questions around the topic, which is demystifying math phobia, and it is pervasive everywhere. I feel it is from the grade KG to the adults. They see mathematics, if they feel mathematics, so somewhere they get stuck with it. So this is the perfect topic and for today's discussion. So first question for this forum would be for Ms. Taruna, that how would you define math phobia in primary years? What's your thought on it?
Excellent question, while I started my career as a primary teacher, so I have seen the children, behaving differently when it comes to the mathematics class. Sometimes their stomach is paining. Sometimes they don't want to sit in the class because they don't enjoy that subject. And as a human being, we all have phobias of something or the other. Somebody is scared of lizards, somebody is scared of height. And so our lovely, lovely children. And at times when we were students, even we were scared of, we are also had a phobia of mathematics. So what I feel that a little motivation and, patience and being innovative in teaching, that overcomes this phobia in children. But if actually we do not, encourage children, or, we do not do some activity-based learning in the classrooms, they don't enjoy mathematics and they run away from that and they go to their shells. So yes, this phobia is very, very much there. I would say 70% of the children in my schools, wherever I have worked, they are actually scared of mathematics.
Okay, thank you for this. And I think maths anxiety is something which is, because being a psychologist, I feel that there is something which is head, heart, and hand. And it's different. It could be from head, because you have mindset and you have been told that maths is difficult. It could be from heart, because we emotionally connect our achievements to this particular subject. And of course, the skills which are required through hands. So all multisensory exposure which the students should get. If it is not given timely, then there could be some kind of a anxiety built up for sure. That is there. And we'll talk about this more. And I come to Ms. Radhika for the next question, that what could be some common reasons behind this phobia? So over to you, Ms. Radhika.
Yeah, thank you. So as Ms. Taruna said, math has always been linked to some kind of negative experiences. So perhaps, wherever the child is going, whether in his home or whether in school or whether in his own family, extended family, he keeps hearing these things. Oh, maths, that's a very tough subject. Oh, maths, are you doing maths? Oh, no, don't ask me about any problems. So I think this all kind of plays on the psyche of a student. So negative experiences or some kind of negative connects that he or she makes with the subject. Also, perhaps, we as educators and school leaders need to find more ways of engagement for the students. We just cannot be just taught, just with a chalk and talk method. We need innovation. We need to make real life connections. So, if a grade 7 or a grade 8 student is learning Pythagoras theorem, or if they're learning, sine, cos, tan, we need to tell them what's the real connection with the world. If you're teaching that in isolation, then they are not going to make meaning of it. And I think that's the missing link, that they don't make meaning of, they just know it as something which is taught in the classroom and never ever again. So that could be one of the reasons. Some prejudices and biases, as I said, also very common gender biases, that girls cannot learn maths. Boys are good at maths, but girls are not good at maths. That kind of plays on their mind forever and ever. And of course, at the very this thing, we are now more aware that dyscalculia is a real problem. So maybe a small percentage of those students who are facing math anxiety or math phobia could have this genuine psychological problem or a learning difficulty of dyscalculia. So, in my opinion, these are the reasons: negative experiences, biases, prejudice, not making an engagement with the real life, connections.
Mhm. Right, right. Thank you so much. And I think you've well put all the points, that what exactly goes into when we are talking about that common reasons behind this phobia. Sahil, next question is for you, that how can edtech firms like Matific contribute in fighting maths phobia among students? I know that there's been lot of games and the way we are teaching, and I can vouch for that, that some of the people who I have referred to for working on, because I extensively work on math phobia for students across the age groups. So they have been benefited by that, because it's a non-threatening environment. But I would like to listen from you, that how exactly, what was the plan, what is the conceptualization behind all this when Matific come out with that.
So very good afternoon to all academicians. In first place, I can see very known faces here. I have personally visited over 13,000 schools, and this is a disclaimer. So whatever I'll put across, that is with the feedback from schools only. So it's not like any IT professional or a management graduate coming out and sharing his thoughts. I think that will be of no use, because I personally believe teaching is a profession which teaches every profession. So if today I am speaking here, that is due to the legends like you and the academicians who are there now. The count is around 220, so which is a good count. So when we talk about solutions and when we talk about tech companies coming in and contributing, I think in first place there is the saying, when we were creating a solution, so we had this thought in our mind. So there's a saying: tell me, I'll forget; show me, I'll remember; involve me, I'll understand.
Right.
And it's a fact. And so we thought of creating a solution which has a 360-degree approach to it. And it was not done by any IT guy or a product guy. So there is an entire team put across to do this. So there is a product team, there are child psychologists. So a product is decided and then feedbacks from academicians. So as an edtech company, we came with the holistic solution, which is a 360-degree approach solution with a gamified approach. And that is what is making difference. And this is where, as Matific, we can contribute big.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much, Sahil. And I think just to summarize what all we have discussed now is like what exactly math anxiety or math phobia is. Yes, there is dyscalculia, which is a disability in mathematics where people suffering from that or they have, so they can be managed. But then there is some difficulty in calculations and understanding the basic concepts of mathematics. Negative experience for sure, as said by Taruna ji, that yes, negative experiences. And I think it's also the parents' mindset, which is very important, that if you were not able to do mathematics in your age, childhood, it doesn't mean that your child cannot do it. So first thing we have to check, and I always request to all the educators or the teachers or the leaders that they should have a kind of a, what you call the kind of a checklist for the students when they're moving from one standard to another. It could be a gamified design. It could be anything where you are checking them in a very non-threatening way, non-achievement way also, because generally mathematics is related directly to the achievement, to the IQ of a person, that if you are not good at mathematics, you are not going to be anywhere, which I as a maths educator will always oppose, that it is not that, because many of my students who I have taught, they were not very good in mathematics, but they have been very successful in their any field which they have chosen, whether it is music or being into being as a lawyer or maybe a successful entrepreneur also. So that's one thing which we have to take care of is, as educators and teachers, that math anxiety, we have to find the reasons for that. And these reasons could be the psyche of the students or the parents, or maybe somewhere the teachers also. To not project mathematics as a very difficult subject. It's not. It is a skill. The research has proven that it's a basic pure skills. Of course, if we understand the abstractness of it, so we will be good on that. Because if you will see any mathematician, pick up any mathematician, and you would see that they were philosophers, they were artists, they were writers also. So that is what we have to see. So we should not compartmentalize mathematics in STEM and humanities and other subjects as different, that they are. This is for the lower IQ people. So that's the first thing I think, which is important for us. So moving forward with this, I would like to ask another question to Ms. Taruna, that it's maths anxiety is real. So how teachers can calm their nerves? I mean, how do you take this process for teachers, that what exactly you do in your school as a leader that can help students? And when these kind of cases comes to you, when you have the semester results with you, that, okay, these children are not doing well. So what is your approach as a leader?
First of all, Chetna ji, I always, when I talk to my teachers, I always tell them that they have to be passionate. If you are not a passionate teacher, you are not successful. It's just that you are working. You have to live with the children. And for me, all the children are intelligent, right? So every child is special. That is my guru mantra to them. And it's their creativity, how they take out the best, right? And for that, we, from time to time, we do have different kind of, training sessions for them where they can be creative with the children. They can do activities with the children. Suppose one example, ascending, descending has to be taught to, say, grade 1 child. The staircase can be used, and they can be taught ascending and descending. That ways, they will never forget that concept. Right, which the children usually make a mistake while ascending and descending. They tend to forget what is descending and what is ascending. So these are little activities, they make the children absorb, right? And they tend to imbibe everything, the concepts in their minds, and they never forget. And second thing is that never pressurize a child. Lot of expectations from a child, from parent side or from the school side, from the teacher side. Never do that. That's a crime, I would say, The creativity is finished then and there. Let them live. You just live once, YOLO, and let the child also live their lives, and they will become what they have to in future. It's just that you have to have trust on them, and you have to give them space to, flourish, or they have to learn by doing it. And the classes have to be actually very, very noisy and interesting, where they do not have any fear. The child loves coming to school, the child loves going for a mathematics class. Then only the child, that phobia can be overcome. That is one thing which I expect from my children, and I from my teachers and my children, and I make sure that happens in the classes, so that the children enjoy doing maths. But still, there are cases where, this problem comes because the teachers, they, at times, the teachers also are pressurized, and they think that this child cannot do anything, which is a wrong conception. You just have to give that child a little time.
Right. Yeah. Thank you so much. And I think it's very important for teachers as facilitators to understand the fact that each child learns at their own pace. And that is what I think the EdTech is going to do. So we'll come to that again. But before that, I'll have a question for Radhika ji. The question is, how can digital tools complement the existing class teaching methods and help in treating math phobia? So it's a perfect blend from one question to another. So over to you, Radhika ji.
Yeah. Thank you, Ms. Chetna. So, math, as I said, can never be taught by the chalk and talk method. You need concretization, you need something concrete, you need to work with your hands. And I think over the last 2 years, we've discovered a plethora of engagement tools powered by AI, and which will help every student and meet every student's needs individually. So differentiation and a customized learning plan can be made for every student of your class, which perhaps in the offline scenario was a little difficult. If I have 30 students in my class and 10 of them are very good with fractions, but there are like 5 or 6 who are struggling with fractions, and still more are still 2 levels away. So, using a digital tool or using gamification or using some kind of engagement strategies, these learners can be met where they are, and their progress can be mapped. So, a student who is 2 levels behind the average learner can also pick up by engaging with these kind of digital tools. The ones who are already there at the class level and want to explore further, even for them, it would be a good option to look at some deeper learning in that topic, or something else which will keep them engaged while the rest of the class is coming up to par. So I think digital learning is here to stay. And teachers have modified and will need to modify all the tools and resources that they have with them. So if a teacher knew how to do a math lab activity, a teacher will now also need to do a digital math activity, or use a digital tool satisfactorily, so that a child would be in a very a very gentle, non-threatening and engaging way. A child can be led from one level of learning to the other. Children naturally take to play and take to games. You teach them anything by way of games. As Ms. Taruna said, if you take them up and down the staircase, they're going to learn not only numbers, they're going to learn integers, they're going to learn multiplication, they can learn a lot of. So, at our school, we've already done this. We have the multiplication tables on the staircase. And as the children are walking up, they are learning the multiplication tables. We have the number lines, we have the shapes, we have symmetry. So all of these topics can be taught very, very well with artificial intelligence, gamification, and digital tools. So I think it's a very good complement for a teacher's array of tools that they already use.
Right. Thank you. And I think we're getting a lot of comments in the chat. So I would, and there are people from Hyderabad, Northeast, Srinagar. So hello to everyone. We will be taking up the questions at the end of the discussion so that, and you can put your questions in the Q&A section and those will be taken for you. All right. So next question is for you, Sahil, that how can gamification support our teachers in this process? I mean, given your experience, that how do you feel that what would be the combination which teachers can use, keeping in mind the curriculum completion, the results, and the other activities in the school? Because that's the, I feel, working for schools, so I know that there is a constraints with the like how to use, when to use. So that is where, so you can, what is your idea on that?
Chetna ji, I think we have one agreement on this thing that gamification is helping kids and teachers teaching.
Yeah,
So
perfect.
even our esteemed panelists and most of the academicians I've been visiting. So if a teacher has to teach a topic, and there are three set of learners in every classroom.
Mhm.
There are sharp learners like you, average like Zainab, and slow like me. So if a teacher is teaching division in a classroom and she is likely to teach division to a kid like me, so I'll feel, yeah, aaj to it's gonna be tough day. And I don't know how to do addition and subtraction. Now division has come up. Okay. But if she tells everyone in class, okay, kids will play a game on an island today. And doing that, she is able to teach division to the kids. And then she gets a comprehensive report, kid-wise, that Sahil is not good at division. Why? Because he was unaware of subtraction and addition. And these are the activities I have to go step down, and this can be allocated to Sahil or parent of Sahil. And on independent basis, he can perform this without the intervention of teacher. So I think it's like cherry on the cake.
Right. Great.
I hope I have addressed your query. So
Yeah,
that's
definitely. So a quick question to all of you, and let's see who answers it first. What is 18 plus 17?
35,
Right. Okay. What is 12 plus 9?
21.
Sahil, let others answer also.
Sorry. I thought you are asking the
That
panelists.
is, so I wanted to give all of you experience of that what happens in the classroom. So a child who is very fast with the calculations will definitely come out with the answer faster, but that never means that he can be a good teacher or he can be a very good mathematician. It is just that we have, and if you would see, we'll go back to our grandparents and parents, they could memorize the tables and all the calculations, and that is where somewhere the rote learning does help, but it is not the only mathematics which we have to utilize in our life. And I have seen, I mean, if you would just to, I reiterate here, what we all are talking about here is the expectation set by the parents. The differentiated learning which would happen in the classroom and the gamification is all about that how the experiential learning is taking place in the classroom and how much the teacher is aware of it. Even if you will take them to a carpenter in the school, when they are making their furniture, let them get involved into that activity. And that is how, so picking up from the child's interest, that what the child is interested in, and then building up the concepts for mathematics for that child. That is how the mathophobia can be worked out. So if I can take a moment here, that the carpenters in Hindi, we use a sooth, okay, which is like a part of our this, okay, that's what. So, and you ask them the measurement of any furniture which is being made there. And this is why I'm talking, because this is how the experience would happen for the children, that whatever I'm learning is being used in daily life everywhere. So you take them for gardening, you take them, and there's nothing like, there was a time somewhere in 2000 when we were talking about math laboratories and the labs were created, but actually the labs could be everywhere. That is how, and then give the chance the student to pace themselves on their projects and whatever they are doing. And I think what we all would agree here is that the assessments should be different from everybody. That's what we have to see, because we put so much on the assessment that this is how the result, the outcome of everything would be there. That's where the challenge comes from. And when you start comparing from one child from another, and the parents will come to you that why my child is not able to do, we have to pacify that they are different, and that's how they are learning differently. So that is where I think the teachers, the leaders, and of course the edtech companies can actually help us in building up some kind of where the students the best part of them can be seen. And that's how I think we can work on the learning loss of mathematics for sure. So thank you so much for answering and taking up my quiz quickly. That was just to add some humor here and fun here. So coming to the third round of our questions, a question for Ms. Taruna is, what are some of the long-term physiological effects of math anxiety? A very interesting question, and you would have seen people having that. I have observed them carefully, so I can. So what are your observations on that?
Yes, they are there. But what I practically do with my children is that we have a affirmation wall in our school, the positive affirmations that I can do it, I can do it, I will do it, and there is no reason why I can't do, right? So that positive affirmation at home, in the classroom, in the corridors, just brings a lot of difference, a lot of confidence. And as I said, that no comparison, no pressure on the child, that will bring results, and that will bring a change in the child. And repeated practice, every day, and the practice of the concept that is being taught. Right. Don't mingle 3-4 things together so that the child is, overburdened, and be child's friend. So that they share ki mama, ma'am, samajh mein nahi aaya. I could not get this, this is not clear. Please explain me again. And please have that much of patience with the child to explain that concept till the child understands it, because one concept missed, the next concept the child will not be able to understand. That gap has to be bridged. So that is my advice, and that is how we function in the school, with a lot of patience and a lot of love. When positivity flows, the things are also positive, and the results are also positive.
Lovely. I think you have put it in a right way, that it starts always from the mindset, and the positive mindsets will always take you. So people have been able to climb Mount Everest because of the positive mindset, in spite of being handicapped or so. So that is where we should take our inspiration from. So coming to the next question, Radhika ji, the question for you would be, does math anxiety affect mathematical performance in primary grade? Because I feel personally that this is where actually it happens. All our childhood experiences, if we go back to our own experiences, there would be some negative comment made by some of the teacher or some parent or some relative that we carry forward till ages. So what is your opinion on that? And how do you address how it can be handled?
So yes, I think math anxiety or math phobia is an established condition, and as a psychologist, I'm sure that you must have also, as you said, encountered many students, many adults who have this phobia and who have very real anxiety. They really become stiff when they have to face any mathematical challenge or whatever. Students really become cold, they start sweating profusely, they start shivering when they see a math paper on the day of the math exam, they fall ill. So, I think as educators, it's very important for us to see that it doesn't reach that level. We must stem it before it reaches that level. We must be so alert that when students are having difficulties or facing challenges in math, we have to find a way to make it more student friendly. Also, somewhere I think, the persona of a math teacher in the school, the math teacher in the school is supposed to be like the most stern person who doesn't smile very often or who doesn't have fun, and she's all business. Like, they come into the class and say, "Come on, take out your notebook, start solving," and there's no let up in that. So we need to modify that also and make math more fun, more engaging, more real, And I think we should not allow it to come to that level of math anxiety and phobia. And coming to the fact that does it affect the grades, I think it's important that we don't let it affect the grades.
Mhm.
It could perhaps affect the grades, and that is going to become a kind of a drag on the children. Math is a lifelong skill. Whether you're going into psychology, or whether you're going into architecture, whether you're going into medicine, whether you're going to carpentry,
Mhm.
or even cooking, math is an integral part of every field. So it's better to make your peace with the subject and become uh, kind of, we have to become
Mhm.
practitioners. Every one of us have to become practitioners of math, and kind of in every subject we should say that, see, math is connected here also. When I'm doing a cookery class also, I'd say I have to make, if I have to add 200 ml of water for two people, then if there are three people for dinner, how much water should I add to the dal, or how
Mhm.
much portion of dal you know should I take? So I think it's the job of every educator, every teacher, whether he's a math or a geography or a history or a cookery class or a PE class, to
Mhm.
integrate with math, because math is the purest of pure sciences, and it's a part of every science. And that passion and that love has to be encouraged.
Right, right. So thank you for endorsing our ideas here. And I think it's called the queen of all sciences for the reason, because if you travel anywhere, you see mathematics everywhere, and you would see the beautiful zero given by Aryabhatta in India. So that's where it starts. And I usually share the stories of these. So I think storytelling could also be added to mathematics, where you are learning without um, any kind of a fear of being assessed. It's just a listening. So there should be some time which should be added to the classrooms where they are just having the stories, or they are creating stories about mathematics. Give them some mind mapping that, okay, what do you want to learn today? And that could be, so that is where it could work in their favor for the students also, and for the teachers also. Sometimes you can relax when your students are actually moving towards the highest level of Bloom's taxonomy. Last question of the day for the panelists. So for Sahil, how can Matific Math League support our schools and teachers in treating math anxiety? Because I feel why I endorse Maths League also, because it is one of the beautiful way of when the students, other than those regular assessments, formative and summative, this will give them, and you have the uh, most important part is that there is a window time for them, starting from I think 23rd to 6th November, so they can move on their pace. And it will also give an exposure to the parents to understand that where their child is moving from this in a very, very friendly manner. That's what. So what's your thought on it, Sahil?
Chetna ji, in first place, there are a lot of competitions and Olympiads happening on maths, and there's maths anxiety among the kids and phobia. And
Mhm.
they are scared. And then we tell them, okay, kid, there is a competition or an Olympiad, let's participate.
Right.
Or in many schools, what I realized, they say, we'll give you 5 kids per classroom. So then I tell them, this is not a competition, this is a league where all the kids can participate.
Mhm.
100% mapping to your content is there. By November, December, your 90% curriculum is covered. You have already taught what you wanted to teach in that year. So kid can come and revise for 14 days, gamified way. And every kid will get certification. Every kid will get certified. And,
Mhm.
and the sharp ones like you, Chetna ji, they'll get rewards, and school will also get rewards. So this is where, as a league, we are different from, we are not creating anxiety. So kid knows, yeah, I am playing games and there was a revision need to be done. I have already done that in 14 days and it's independent learning, and then it is helping the teacher. Teacher
Right.
gets the report,
Mhm.
entire report. Yeah, these are the kids, and these are the common misconceptions.
Mhm.
This is where we need to work. And then that remedy is even available on our platform.
Right. Okay. So just to emphasize on the fact that Sahil, I was never very great in mathematics.
Okay.
I was a average child, I would say, in my time. But then I got interested in mathematics because of my teacher. That's where it all started. And then I saw people struggling with it, and I feel that it could be because of that exposure which I got. And so it's never, for me, it's never related to calculations. That okay, if you are calculating fast, so you become a good mathematician. But how do you transact the curriculum is what is more important. So yes, so I'm not the brightest one here, sorry. So coming to, I think some of the people have asked about the multiple assessment. So I'll just take your views on each one of you, that how do you think as a company from Matific and leaders, that what are the multiple assessments which could be used for students in to kind of manage this kind of a phobia or this anxiety, or how we can work. So we can start with the Radhika ji.
Yeah, thank you. So, by multiple assessments, do you mean differentiated learning? Because, I just wanted to know if
Yeah, so
that
there's
was a,
so when I'll just rephrase that. One of the, I think, participant have asked when I mentioned about storytelling. So we can do it in a different manner for especially in
yes,
primary grades, because I think
yes,
ninth and 10th we have the public examination where we have to, but till grade 8, which is the basic in
yes,
even in the child development and psychological
yes,
development. What are the various ways where do you feel as a leader that we can utilize the assessments in a different manner so that the parents are
all right.
happy, child is happy, and you are also happy as a school?
So, we are already practicing this in our school, and not every assessment or evaluation is a pen and paper test.
Mhm,
We do have collaborative projects. For example, we gave them a project of building a bridge, and
mhm,
we gave them certain dimensions, and it was a math project, and we told them that this is the dimension, this is the material, and you need to make a bridge. And they did all the thinking on their own, and their output for was for us to see, and they had some reasons, and this is the why we built the build like this. This is the load that it can carry, and all of that they did, and this was all in third grade and fourth grade.
mhm,
There is a possibility of expressing themselves in the form of a story, in the form of those who are linguistic learners would perhaps like to narrate a story or write a poem. Those who are good with spatial intelligence will build a model. Those who want to draw a picture will they will be able to draw a picture. Kinesthetic learners may want to uh, share in the form of dance.
mhm,
There is math in music, so much of math in music, the metrics, the tals, and the sing. There's so much of music, and I can see that there are students who are good at math are also excelling in music, or vice versa. So if
right.
they want to say that I've created this melody by using this tal, and this is that half pace, and this is that double pace, they're still using math.
Yes.
So uh, definitely, as you said, as a school, there is a lot of possibilities of allowing the child to present their work in different formats, which perhaps will help to alleviate some of the anxiety and the phobia that is centered around maths. And it's very, very possible to do these things.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much for illustrating it so well. And this comes to the finalization of third round of our this seminar. And I would like each one of you to just throw some light at how do you summarize today's experience on math phobia, and what are the way forward for all of us, taking up the ideas from each other. So Sahil, let's start with you.
So, if we talk about the professions which exist today,
Mhm,
almost 65% professions won't exist after, or rather, the jobs of in that profession won't be there after 10 years.
true.
So, are the kids prepared for it?
Mhm,
The rote learning way or the way we used to learn earlier, I think that has kind of got obsolete. Now
mhm,
we have to think out of the box. We have to think about kinesthetic learning,
mhm,
learning by doing activities. gamified learning. So I think we need to brace ourselves and come with the ideas and share the ideas. We all were consumers in year 2008 when all digital companies started. Then we slowly started contributing bit of content. That was the second C. First was the consumer, then we started contributing. Then the third C was we started creating some content in the form of PPTs. Fourth is the collaboration C. So now we need to collaborate, not only teachers, academicians, companies, kids. They need to come on platform and share their thoughts,
Right.
share their ideas. Then only we can be future ready.
Perfect. Yeah. Thank you so much, Sahil. Tarunaji, your ideas on it. How do you summarize and what is your take on this, that how we can move forward to it?
See, I am a very practical person, right? So what I feel that, as Sahil said, Radhika ji said, that doing project-based learning, suppose you give them a classroom, there are squares, measure them, teach them area by doing it, that will stay with them. And as he said that we are obsolete, ratification has gone. Those days without rote learning and then just puking out on the papers, that's like bad. So we just have to have it in our heart, soul, minds, so that stays with us, that knowledge stays with us, right? Thirdly, fourthly, I want that the teacher, who is the pivot of the entire story, entire subject, entire school, who's the building block of a school, has to be really, really, passionate, and she should give the best. Because today also, like you said, that you loved your mathematics teacher, so you fell in love with maths, so this should be the trend of future, because this won't go.
Right.
We are digital, right? I understand we are digital. We did a lot of variations in the COVID period, but the traditional classroom is going to stay, right? So, and that is where the teacher's place cannot be taken. We can be creative, we can be collaborative, we can do everything, but yes, the teacher has to be there. She has to hold hands of those children who are maybe below average or average, to bring them to that place.
Right. Thank you. I think average, below average, and above average is something which is always there, and that's how we differentiate students. But I think the most important thing what Sahil said, I would agree on that we are preparing them for the future, which is yet not seen. Like we don't know what kind of jobs. And in current scenario, I'm sorry, taking up this thing that EdTech bubble is busting. So there have been a lot of layoffs around, and these are all the data scientists and software engineers. So there would always be ups and lows in every kind of a field or domain. The only thing what is important is through any subject, are we teaching them those transitional skills which could be used everywhere? That is most important thing. So Radhika ji, what's your take on that? So, and then
I'll just intervene.
Sure.
Radhika, just one more thing.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Integrating of subjects in the class.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. So continue, Radhika ji.
So, I've just used the acronym MATH to summarize, this session, or the takeaways from this session. So for M, I've said make meaning of what the concepts. The meaning of the concepts has to be driven home. A is adapt the methods of teaching and learning.
Right.
T is train yourself and train the teacher, because the teachers need to have more innovation. And H is have faith and patience. So make meaning, adapt yourself and adapt your teaching, train the trainer and teacher, and have faith and patience. So I think if we follow this MATH, we can overcome perhaps some degree of math phobia or anxiety, or tackle it even before it reaches that stage.
Right. That's so lovely. And I think this is something for all of us to agree on, that you have to make meaning of the concepts and adapt the methods, because adaptability is one skill which everybody should have. That if you are tomorrow, if you want, you have to shift from somewhere to other, whether in the national or international this arena or in careers. So that would also help. And yes, upskilling the teachers is the most important part of every school. They should see that how they are balancing, and some kind of a upskilling should happen for the teachers also. So I would suggest maybe we can have some kind of a videos on, because the NPE 2020 talks about the vocational education also. And this would be a lovely idea to just explore, since four of us are here. So like using puppets in the classrooms, because, and then you're bringing the artisans from the village. So it would be also the sustainable development goals which you are working towards. So something like that. And I think we can invite the teachers to do that, so that we can see how creative they are and how upskilling they are. That would be my suggestion to you, Sahil, if we can have something for the teachers as well. So with this, I think we'll wind up our all talks and everything. So my takeaways, or just to summarize, that what all we have learned today is that yes, math phobia exists for sure. The percentage may vary from different places, and the exposure with the students are getting or the parents are giving to the students. But then this has to be addressed within the school, or with also in communication with the parents also, and the industry as well, that how they are taking up gamification, or they are just replicating the same thing which is there in the textbook, or just on the digital format. That also EdTech should see that. Yes, non-threatening way of assessments is one thing which people should do. Collaboration, which is very important, that each one of us have to come together to address this situation, whether it's math phobia or whether it is education in schools in general. And yes, there should be a purpose of learning for each one of us. So when we are here today, and when I invited Radhika ji and Taruna ji, they quickly agreed on this, because there was some meaning added to that. Okay, this is some topic which we can discuss and which we can deliberate upon, and this could bring some value to somebody, and we learn from each other. There's no expert here. Especially I feel in education, there is nobody who's perfect and expert. We are always evolving, learning together. And yes, to bridge the gaps, and the interdisciplinary approach to the subject is very, very important, because we never learn a subject in isolation for sure. So that the next step would for all of us would be, though it is being used everywhere, I think, but we can emphasize on that fact that all the teachers in a school are collaborating together, and there should always be a weekly lesson, which I have observed in most of the international curriculums, just to emphasize here, that they do have a one weekly 1 hour lesson where they are working together to create a project-based learning or lesson plan where each of the subject is used. And this is something on the Waldorf's philosophy of learning, where there are no compartmentalized subjects like that. So I think that's where it would bring, because peer learning is also very important for each, and the students learn in a better manner when it is being given by the peer rather than the teacher being an authority to it. So they learn in a very easy way that, okay, yes, I can do mistakes also. So that is what would be the takeaways for this session today. Taking up some questions from the audience. Vijay Lakshmi from Manchala is, Vijay Lakshmi Manchala is asking how to make children learn tables other than rote method. Good one. Any thoughts on this from the panelist? Any one of you can take up this.
You can come on our platform and just annotate with the solution. You would love it. So my answer is this, and it is more of a sales oriented or a business oriented answer. But
okay, so I'll just change the question. Radhika ji, how did you learn the tables when you were in your classroom in the
I
childhood?
think when I was a student, every day we had to recite the table in our math class. It was a drill. So it
Right.
was like how you learn to ride the bicycle, or how you learn to swim. It became such a part of us that every time the math teacher came, we had to recite the tables, and then the math teacher would also do the dodging. Okay,
Right.
like, okay, now you tell me what is 13 nines are. You tell me what is 6 12s are. So we had to be alert. We even learned tables of half and quarter. which
Right.
kind of helped us for fractions. So I think for us it was a drill.
Mhm.
It was like uh, uh, doing it every day, day in and day out. That it was second nature. That I didn't have to think. So
Yeah.
that's the way I learned it.
Mhm.
And I still endorse it. I think that's a very good way to have tables. And I'm sure, that's what has taken our Indians far and wide into every possible professional career, both Indian and overseas. All the CEOs, all the experts in Google and Microsoft, and all the companies. I'm sure there is a history of uh, having that kind of a very strong base in math, and that is a part of our of the Indian psyche, I would say.
Right. Okay. Tarunaji, your thoughts on it? Like, how did you
I
learn?
I
How
I I
suggest
agree
you learn?
with Radhika ji, a
Mhm.
few things in life, like tables and the poems. They
Mhm.
when you do the drill in a group, you learn faster and you never forget. That is the best thing. But yes, the children can be taught as repeated addition. That
Right.
is one way. And then this Vedic mathematics and this brain, they have brought in some tricks to make the calculations and these things little faster. Though I have never done it, but yes, I have heard that the calculations become faster and so the tables also.
Right. Right.
But I
Sahil,
did it
what
with
about you?
drill
How
only.
did you learn your tables?
Ma'am, I was a slow learner. And in my case, I think repeated addition and a lot of kinesthetic work was put in by one of my teacher.
Mhm.
That helped me. But
Yeah.
now I think my calculation and everything is good.
Good. Yeah. So I'll just add to it from my side that it is not a rote method actually when you're talking about the drilling and all, because it's done by the all the defense forces people when they are having the sorties as a pilot, because that's the kind of a mind training which happens, that whenever you are trained so well by this drilling that you are able to retrieve that information when it is required. So that's how we have to teach our children also, that the learning tables is just not the rote learning, it is also training your mind. Because when we talk about math phobia, I have seen a lot of students, and you would have also observed, each one of you, that they are excellent in the classroom when they're responding to the questions of the teachers, but when it comes to the assessment of 3 hours, suddenly they panic, they're nervous, they are sweating profusely, or they feel dizzy. It's the pressure which is there. So once we train them on the practices of taking up the test for 3 hours also, and that is what happens in most of the standardized tests also. That is where we have to see. So the phobia is because of that okay, there is somewhere we have to retrieve. So if we train them rightly on retrieving the information, whether it is like 29 into 3 or 12 plus 12 or whatever, that is where. So, and this is the beautiful way. So don't call it a rote method. It is basically drilling or training method. It's as simple as when you are listening to the music. So we don't learn the lyrics. We do not learn the notes of it. We just listen to it. And if you will just record it in your mobile and just listen to them, it will automatically goes into your memory. And sometime it will become your active memory. So anything you find difficult in life, when you are not able to learn the concept, just do that. It will help all of us. It's for child and adult all. Next question is from Visudha Dayanand. Few students have no interest in even performing few activities related to real life for any topic. In that case, how to make them to do with interest? That's for you. Any one of you can answer that. I'll take it up if I can add something to
Should
it.
I take that?
Yeah, please, go ahead.
Yeah. So, such concepts like weights and measures,
Mhm,
money, you can organize a market day in school,
mhm,
and we've done that, successfully. That you ask the children to bring some kind of materials to school. It could be vegetables, it could be fruits or whatever. They weigh it, they keep the entire money transactions, and they note down. And then at the end of the day, they also tell you, was it a profit or a loss? So
mhm.
you can invite students to be part of, a farmer's day or something like that, where they go to a farm and they. So that is one of the activities when when they are involved hands-on, you're teaching them weights, you're teaching them money, you're teaching them profit and loss. Many concepts can be taught, in this way. You also have, like, as Taruna ma'am mentioned, the tiles in a classroom, or if you have to design a carpet, or you have to design a prop for a person for your school concert. So we've done this. So
Mhm.
we need a prop for the school concert. We need the prop to be this tall and this big. We need to make a rowboat. So what would you do? How would you design it? So there are lots of activities. I just remembered one thing which we also do for tables, which I forgot to mention in my previous answer. We play this game called Buzz, Biz, and Flish. Buzz,
Mhm.
Biz, and Flush. So it's for 2 times, 3 times, and 5 times tables when children are sitting in a large circle. And so for the table of two, you have to say buzz. For the table of three, you have to say biz. And for the table of five, you have to say flush.
Mhm.
So if it is a table of, if it is six, so I start counting from one, the next one says buzz, and then, then again he says whatever. So
Mhm.
this also is like a good trick which we've tried.
Mhm.
So there are lots of activities, lots of things that can be done. Symmetry can be taught in nature,
Right.
the leaf shapes, flower shapes. So lots of activities that can be integrated into math.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a lovely example, I think. Anyone else would like to add, Sahil and Tarnaji? Would you like
You
to add?
know, I
You
lost you
lost,
all.
I know. So I'll just repeat the question for
Yeah,
you.
please do that. Please do
Few
that.
students have no interest in even performing the activities. We are talking about the gamification and activity, and I can agree with Visudha that there would be some students who have no interest at all. It is just that they have to come to the school and just go back. There could be multiple reasons for that. So for them, what should be the way that how to make them to do with interest? That's what her question is.
The regular counseling of the child, talking to the child. That is what I said, that be friendly with the child. All the stakeholders, parent, teacher, and the child, they have to work hand in hand to bring out that. First, so you have to identify who all are not interested. And if the child is not interested, we need to work, we need to counsel, and the parents, teacher, and the child, they have to sit together and do this counseling to bring out the best of the child, out of the child.
Mhm. Yeah, I think I agree on that, because the reason has to be found that why the
Yeah.
child is not interested in learning. Maybe he does not
Yes.
have the purpose of learning. Sahil, any thoughts from your
Yeah,
Matific
yeah.
on that, that how you can make it interesting, that they can pick and choose
I
some.
can I can personally feel because I was one of this kind. So it was very tough to teach me.
Mm,
And I think kinesthetic learning is the way forward for such
mm,
kids. Rather than telling them that memorize this or I'll teach you this, if you take them outside and do activities with them, which is very tough, I'm telling you. Current scenario, we get only 180 days, 200 days to teach, considering holidays and all.
mm,
But for such kids, if we have a lot of learning by doing activities,
right.
they flourish.
Mhm.
And eventually you would realize these guys, they do very, very well in their careers because they are looking at meaningful learning.
Right.
So they wanted to know and they want to know why this has been taught to me.
Mhm.
The plug points can be used like subject to subject. These kind of kids, if he's not good in maths, maybe he's very good in science.
Mhm.
So the plug points between the subjects. So these kind of methodologies, I think they do wonders. And I have seen that in many esteemed schools.
Mhm.
And they have set of learners in their classroom and they realize, yes, this guy won't study like this. So they segregate, but they don't tell the kids. So there are additional activities for the kids, barring the classroom, and they enjoy it. Kids thoroughly enjoy it, and there's a good outcome out of it.
Okay. Yeah, I think you said it rightly that yes, there should be some kind of a meaningful construction happening between the subjects and picking up their hobbies and interests, that what they are interested in, and creating some kind of a experience for them, learning experience, which they would enjoy, and give them activity of their choice, because maths is everywhere. So we can all do that. It just takes little 5-10 minutes more for a teacher to develop that kind of a thing. Or maybe the easiest way is you give them that, okay, what do you want to do? Because Harvard does that you can create your own curriculum and you can get a degree. There's one PPE thing. So same thing can be replicated in the schools also, that you design your own learning. And this is what we want, that this outcome should be there. And let's see how the students are, because they are all digital natives, I would call. So we are the digital migrants, so they can pick up apps or something where they can do that. So comparison of apps can be given to them to learn, maybe some kind of a video gaming, because the recent research is that with these digital natives, 30% of them actually become good into their learning skills when they are playing video games. Sorry to say that, but that's the research which is saying it. I'm not the one who's done that, but they've done the experiment on this generation. And that's where we have to come to the understanding of the fact that, yes, the video games are going to help them more in developing their skills, because it's not the same skills which we used to learn in our times. Coming to the next question from Ravi Kiran. Hello, ma'am. This is Ravi from Hyderabad, Shri Shidhar High School. And his question is how students can get rid of math fear before exam, even though they are good at maths. As we answer these questions in many from our side, we want to listen from you. So I think we have taken up that question, but if you would like to add something here, because you would have seen in the examination room and during the board exams also, it happens that some of the students panic or have fear, but otherwise they are very good at mathematics. So what are the ways, as per your experience as an educator, to help them out? Any one of you can pick up. Yeah, please.
See, I feel that, yes, that happens with the children who actually are very good in mathematics, but yes, that last moment fear is there. They have sweats, they have nausea and all. But then, yes, the motivation, giving them a lot of confidence that, yes, you will actually rock the show and you will get good marks, that we are sure of, giving them that confidence. And the practice has already been taken up in the revision and all. So that will actually bring the results and bring a change in the child. Talk a lot to the child, with the child.
Right. Any thoughts on that, Radhika ji?
At that time when a child is in a panic mode, or they have to face the exam maybe 15 minutes or half an hour later, they're even blocking out your words. Whatever you talk, whatever you this thing is also being, they're not registering that, because in their mind they've already decided that I'm not going to do well. So perhaps at that time, the only thing is to place them in a very warm and comforting environment and just say that you just deep breathe or just meditate, just close your eyes, don't talk to anyone. And I'm here if you want me to, but if you don't want to talk, I'm still fine. So just collect your thoughts. Don't look at your math book. Don't look at anything. Don't talk to anyone, because sometimes, you don't know what are the triggers. Someone says, I don't know that question. The last minute revision which children do, and they ask each other, Acha, what is the formula of that? What is the formula of that? And this one child would say, I learned the formula, now I don't know. That's it. It could be a trigger for one such panic attack. So I think isolate them from the rest of the students, put them in a warm, comfortable room, give them a sip of water, tell them to sit down and meditate, and perhaps, have the yoga teacher just do some simple meditation exercises, some eye yoga and something that could help. Because when you talk and talk, that sometimes could trigger off something else also.
Yeah, I think you put it rightly. And Raviji, what you can do is simply, because the board also, the CBSE or any of the board here in India or internationally, they allow them to have some water and chocolates also, because it suddenly shoots up your oxygen level and then you are able to think better. Or otherwise, you can just tell the child to move out of the seat and then they can go and stretch themselves or just do some kind of a meditation. And also the practice for the mock test, because sometime we feel that the mock tests are not important, but yes, they are important, because as I said earlier, the mind training is important for the students to sit in that environment and get acquainted with what happens to you, what triggers you. So you may start with 40 minutes test, then go to 60 minutes and then go to 90 minutes and then give them the questions. Let them check on his own that where he's doing the mistake, so that he knows about it. It's called the self-directed learning process in psychology. So this could be done, and I think that would help your student a lot. So let us know if that all these formulas which we have given you, all the advices, whether they worked or not. I'll quickly take up one or two questions because we are running out of time. It's already 4:10. How to make a math lesson interesting? Sahil, or to you, I think you can talk about something about that, how you are making math lessons interesting here.
Absolutely, the gamification is way forward. NEP is also recommending a lot of kinesthetic activities, gamification, and a lesson plan which is open-ended.
Yes.
So that's gonna matter a lot. And Chetna ji, while we were talking, we even have lesson plans on our platform, and now we are planning to make them open-ended. So teachers can
Lovely. Yeah.
begin
So I
there.
think, yeah, that would actually help, that you have to make your lesson interesting, and the objective which you are putting, that are you putting a broad objective, you are putting educational objective, or you are just putting instructional objective, that you have to see, that are you giving them an experience about it. And then I feel that each one of you need to know your class. As a class teacher, as a subject teacher, you should know your students, that what are their interests. Just move away for once in a week time, that what are they doing in their life, and then bring them back to the lesson. That's how will make your maths lesson interesting, and maybe they can create that. This two more questions. How to make the kids understand the word problems? That's universal. Language is not a problem, but understanding and comprehending a simple word problem is an issue. That's so. Any one of you would like to take that up?
Learning by doing, by showing it to them. Suppose you start with small numbers initially. You can show them that 10 pencils, 5 taken away, 5 left. That is a practical way of doing things. You can have this thing with varied examples which are countable, but then once they are clear with this, then you can approach with bigger numbers, and that is how they can do it: subtraction, addition, multiplication, whatever. So my concept is that show them, do it with them, and that is how they learn.
Great, right. Thank you. Anyone would like to add up to it? Something?
So I think in word problems, as Taruna ji said, if possible, demonstrated. So for example, if you have a pizza and you say that this pizza has to be divided among 4 people, how would you do it? So you actually bring the pizza, or you have a picture of a pizza and you cut it and you show it. Uh, the language of maths is what foxes students most of the time, is taken away from, is uh, uh, given to, or is, so it's very important to talk that language that you have in word problems. Usually what happens is, if you tell them what is 10 minus 6, they'll be able to do properly. But if they say 4 taken away, 6 taken away from 10, now they are confused. So we have to familiarize them with the language or the lingo of maths, and keep on reiterating those words which they might encounter in the word problems. Another thing which might work is, give them a solution and tell them, you create a word problem.
Right.
You write the word problem, and the solution should be 6. It can be a multiplication problem, it can be a division problem, it can be, and let them word it.
True. I think that's the best solution, that you give them to create their own word problems. Once they learn how to frame the question, I think they will be able to understand the mathematical language also. And then maybe some kind of an experiential learning, like Taruna ji said, that you can give them some things to explore, that how are you going to measure, or how many pencils are there, and how whatever. I mean, using the props in the mathematics class is something which helps. Maybe the one can represent 100 also, so you can go for larger numbers also. Thank you so much. And the last question for this is on two of these attendees have asked that how to make them understand profit and loss. Sahil, this question is for you. As a chief marketing business officer, how will you make them explain profit and loss? I think this would be the experiential learning.
Absolutely, absolutely. When It's about business. When you get into a business, you have to learn it, and you learn it hard way.
Right.
And same goes in profit and loss. Uh, for the kids, we need to be giving them activities of that sort from the childhood times. You give them a task, you give them some money, and they want to buy something, give them a budget, and their siblings are there, and between them, if both of them want to buy something, so what that will happen, giving them such tasks, they'll be able to collaborate. One, second, they'll be knowing, yeah, we had this much budget, or this was the task given to us, or even the kids ask for a lot of chocolates and all, give them a monthly budget. Tell them, okay, this is a budget. Now you
Yeah.
can spend out of it. And they'll be obviously end of the month if a kid comes back and tells you, okay, uh, I saved around 300 rupees out of it. So that's a profit for a parent, and even kids will be knowing. So we have to involve them from early childhood, give them tasks, even going out, and at times tell them, okay, this is the money. Okay, kid, buy these things. You will buy, and you'll just, and this is the budget. So they gradually, I think we have to involve them a lot.
Yeah, I think so. Anyone would like to add, or is this fine? We all agree on this.
We do agree on that. Sahil has actually well
Yeah.
said. Practically doing it and showing it to them, profit and loss. When they do it, they feel it, they enjoy it, and they actually know the value of money also.
Yeah, it's basically, I think, immersive learning for them, that how much immersive learning experiences you are giving to them for every topic or concept which we are teaching. And first of all, the teacher has to be convinced about that, yes, this would be used, because sometimes they ask that, okay, ma'am, this formula of A minus B whole square, where are we going to use them? I think there are so many examples which are available around the world, which are open sources also, because some of the attendees have asked for which are the open resources. So you can find on MOOC, you can find on edX, you can find on Matific also. I hope Matific has some open sources for the teachers where they can use it without being subscribed or something. So yeah, so you can use it, just that you have to find with the right keywords and the right concept as per your learner's level. So with this, I think we'll come to the end. So thank you so much, Radhika ji, Taruna ji, and Sahil for collaborating, bringing up the idea, and we will keep on looking for more and more from the platform of Association of Indian Principals. And if there are any principals or teachers who are there, you could join the forum of Association of Indian Principals with us. For Matific, you can motivate the students to go for the math league, because it is something very interesting for them, which is coming up on 23rd. So you can download the app and you can use it, and all your questions related to the conceptual understanding making, you can send it to Zainab, and maybe Zainab, we can have some expert answer these questions, because we cannot take all the questions here, which are very, very concept specific. So we would love to answer them for sure. I'm not denying the fact that it is important to answer on these forums as well, but you can send them to Zainab at Matific, this email. And over to you, Zainab, for this. Thank you so much to each one of you from Association of Indian Principals and Matific. I hope you all have enjoyed us. Whatever we could speak, we could talk, we could discuss in 1 hour. I think for me personally, there were a lot of takeaways, and I hope the same for you as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chetna, and as team speaker. That was one of the best sessions we have had around maths phobia. And I'm sure seeing the responses, the comments, the question and answers, I feel the audience was equally involved. We all had major takeaways from here. So as Sahil did mention a lot about Matific Math League, I'm just going to play a small video to give you a glimpse of what it is all about. There's a small survey towards the end. Do fill it up, show your interest for Matific Math League. Our experts will get in touch with you to get your school or class onboarded. I again repeat, it's absolutely free of cost. It just costs a smile, nothing more than that. And another very important thing I would want to mention here is that Matific does not collect email and contact numbers of students. This is not a data collection activity. We genuinely want to help students excel in maths and fight maths phobia. All the communication would be through schools and teachers in Matific Math League. Here we go. Last 2 days are left. Please do complete your registrations and let your school, your students be a part of prestigious Matific Math League. Thank you. Here I go. Thank you once again.
Yeah, so thank you, Zena, for all the coordination.